that's what keeps it fresh. I mean, that's why you can do 8 shows a week and it doesn't get old. The audience reaction is everything. I remember sitting in the bodega with Robin, and we would just, in the moments when we weren't on stage, just sizing up the audience. You know, this couple in the second row, this is a good date for them. That was a good move on this guy's part. There's a lady asleep in the first row. I'm going to wake her up during 96,000. You know, it's we get, you know, student groups where people are screaming. I remember once I had a kiss. Usnavi had a kiss with Vanessa, and Vanessa walked out, and a girl from the balcony screamed, "Go get her!" You know, that's what keeps the show fresh and keeps it alive. And as you go through the journey you do every night, you watch the audience go through a journey, and you keep up with them. You see who is inconsolable in Alabanza. You see who is dying laughing during No Me Diga. And that's what keeps the show fresh. What hasn't changed for me since the show opened? Before In The Heights went up, I was doing all manner of odd jobs. I taught 7th grade English. I taught after school programs. I theater at after school programs. I danced at bar mitzvahs. I had in the really lean months, I had garage sales of my parents' stuff to make rent. I don't do any of those things anymore. The show is up, the show is running, and what's the great gift of it is, one, it puts you within shaking hand distance of your heroes, and I've gotten to meet so many of the people that are the reasons I got started writing, and that's inspiring, and that keeps you writing. And then I'm in a position where, you know, the thing I always think, you know, when you're really doing what you love, you do it when no one's looking, you do it when you're not getting paid for it, you do everything else so that you can find 2 hours and do that. And that's always been writing for me. And so now I have a lot more time to do that. So, you know, I would be doing this even if I weren't talking to you right now. But I get to do it, and I'm very grateful for that. I have 50 things I'm working on now. This week, we've been working very hard on the screenplay for the In the Heights movie, which is a totally different beast, and at the same time, it's exactly the same. It's Chiara and I sitting in a room, asking ourselves questions, asking ourselves the best way to tell the story, and trying to move each other. And so, on that level, it's really fun, but it's also, we're figuring out how this works in 3D. You know, we're not in a proscenium anymore. So, you know, we've made some brutal decisions, and we've made some really exciting decisions in terms of the story and how we tell that story. And so that's the fun challenge of this week. I'm working on a new musical with Andy Blankenbuehler, our choreographer. He's directing. That's an adaptation of Bring It On. And I'm working on my own hip-hop album whenever I get a free minute, which is almost never. But you know, so there's lots of, I'm throwing lots of plates in the air, and you know, some will break, but I'm going to try to catch as many as I can. Well, this guy's a good start. I don't even know if you can see him in the camera, but you know, it's inspiring just to be in this room and here at R&H. It's impossible to overstate how important they are to musical theater. It's if you had Mount Rushmore, if you had the Mount Rushmore of musical theater, he would be George Washington. You know, I guess actually, let me not finish that analogy. I'll hurt someone's feelings. But I'm inspired by so many people. I think I'm like a lot of people in that I didn't get into theater by watching theater. I got into theater by getting to do theater in school, and you know, all of the shows that R&H leases out. And you know, my first experience with Oklahoma was not seeing Oklahoma; it was playing a cowhand in 6th grade. My first experience with Fiddler was playing The Sun, and I fell in love with it in that way. And that's what got me into this world. And I think that's most people's experience. Broadway is expensive. So most people's first experience with theater is a regional production or a school production. And that's how I got into it. So I really value that. I can't wait for the day In the Heights is in high schools. I really can't wait.